Family court bias. Is it myth, reality, or is it a bit of both? Hey everyone, welcome back to Sheep Diaries, the show where we pull back the curtain on the family court system and the impact that it has on real lives and real families. It is also the place that we give you a platform to speak about your own real life experiences within the family court system. Today's burning question is the family court system biased? And if it is, against whom? Fathers, mothers, or maybe we're not even asking the right questions. In custody disputes, fathers and mothers often feel like the deck is stacked against each one of them. And you've probably heard this. The court always sides with the mother, or protective mothers lose custody of their kids to abusers. Or on the flip side, the dads will say, courts don't give dads a chance unless you're rich or you happen to get lucky. And these aren't just online rants. These are deeply held beliefs based in painful experiences. So which is actually true? So let's take a look at both sides. And we're going to start with the fathers today. Many dads and advocates for fathers believe that the family court system is fundamentally biased against them. Here are a few reasons why. Number one, historical doctrines still influence outcomes. Until the late 20th century, most states followed the tender years doctrine. This was the belief that some judges, evaluators, mediators may assume that mothers are more suited to be the caregiver, even when the father has been involved in the children's lives. Even though this doctrine was largely phased out, its assumptions still linger on in today's court decisions against the father. A second reason fathers feel biased against them in family court is number two, barriers to equal custody. So father rights groups point out that many states do not form a presumption of equal parenting. So even if both parents are fit, the court doesn't automatically aim for 50-50 custody decisions. A third reason fathers feel this are the mental health and or allegations. So according to legal scholar Joan Muir from George Washington University, in some cases, fathers' minor mental health issues or past mistakes are treated more harshly in custody evaluations, while the mothers are often considered the benefit of the doubt. If you're a father and you have experienced what you believe is family bias within the court system, then please leave a comment. I know these are only 3 things that we're touching on today. If we've missed something, please comment. We would love to hear from you. Father, now let's look at claims against why a mother feels the court system is biased, because it is definitely not one-sided. There are also strong, well-documented claims that mothers, especially protective mothers, face serious bias, particularly in the high conflict custody battles that involve abuse. So number one reason why moms a lot of times feel that bias is the minimization of that abuse. Again, we're going to look at Joan Muir's work as a national study in 2019, which reviewed over 4,000 U.S. custody cases. She found that when mothers alleged abuse and fathers claimed parental alienation, which we will get back to that topic, courts often sided with the father even when parental abuse was alleged. Second reason mothers feel alienated is they feel punished for protecting their children. In Phyllis Chesler's book, Mothers on Trial, she documents dozens of cases where protective mothers, trying to shield their children from abuse, lost custody for that very reason. In some instances, courts viewed her protection as obstruction and once again, alienation. And we will be talking about the whole alienation piece, who does it, why they do it, and how this kind of came about to be one of the new tactics within the court system. But that's a side note, so we'll get back to that. Third reason why a lot of times mothers feel the bias from the court system is they feel like they are held to a higher and different standard, and they often feel like there are stricter parenting expectations on a mother. If, for instance, the mother struggles financially or emotionally, she might be seen as unstable, while similar struggles within the fathers are sometimes framed as challenges that he's overcoming. So if you are a mother and any of these resonate with you, or if you feel like there's any type of family bias that I have not touched on, please comment below. We absolutely want to hear from both sides. Okay, so we've looked at the sides, arguments for the father, arguments for the mother. And again, these are only just a few examples. If we've missed anything, please comment below. We really want to hear from everybody on this. Okay, so let's dig into data that doesn't necessarily support either extreme. So one of the findings is that, number one, who actually files for the custody? And that is one major factor. Mothers typically file for custody more often than fathers. And in many of those cases, fathers either don't contest or they aren't seeking primary custody. So these outcomes can be a little bit skewed. And the second reason is it was a study in 2023, a US study from Gender and Child Custody Outcomes across 16 years. And it found that mothers who are found to have alienated children are more likely to lose custody than fathers in similar conditions. So the third reason of the neutral findings is across the US, there's a considerable amount of state-to-state variations in laws, court practices, presumptions, resources. So what looks like bias even in one county may not even hold true in the neighboring county. So with knowing these things, the father's case, the mother's case, maybe something in the middle as well, is bias really the core problem, or is bias merely the symptom of these deeper issues? Or maybe it's way more complicated than the actual bias itself. So the way family court operates, it operates under the best interest of the children standard, which is a deliberately broad and somewhat vague guideline. And believe me, we are going to be digging into what the best interest of the child really is. I can't wait for that one. So the flexibility in this verbiage and how the court interprets best interest, it really allows for thoughtful, case-specific decisions, but at the same time, it also opens up the door for inconsistencies and potential indirect bias. Other things that the court considers within best interest of the children are family dynamics before court, who is the main caregiver. We have economic stability, housing, substance abuse, and/or criminal history. So those are just a few factors that they have to consider for the best interest of the child. In other words, the system isn't necessarily designed to be biased, but it is flawed. And because of those flaws, bias can flow from them. And so with all those things said, I would like to give an extremely watered down opinion of mine with the family court system after going over all these things. And I would say the family court system isn't necessarily biased in every case, but it is deeply flawed. There is a lack of structure, outdated norms for sure, inconsistent application of the laws, and all these things create for both perceived and real bias. So whether you're a father or mother, I do think it's safe to say that the system often fails a child, and that should be the real concern at the heart of every court hearing. If you've had an experience in family court or you're currently involved in what feels like family court bias, then we definitely want to hear from you. Please comment in the section below. Also, drop your comments below about how you feel about this topic. If you think that there's something that we've missed, please let us know. And maybe it's something that we will make a video on. Or if you have a story to tell and you would like to be one of the guests on our podcast, please be sure to reach out to us and we can get that started. And speaking of podcasts, our next podcast guest is a single father who is going to be talking about his experience in family court for over 2 decades. That's right, over 2 decades. So you'll get the story straight from the horse's mouth. And I'm really excited for that one. So if you want to hear the interview, subscribe, hit the notification button, because you don't want to miss this real life story of a father's heart who is hurting. In the meantime, leave your comment and so we can get this ball rolling.